Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Monday, the 14th of March. Okay, looking at the euro dollar first, and Friday, well, ended up as a bearish harami effectively within that Thursday's amazingly wide bar. We're now in a situation where we're sitting here heading possibly south towards the weekly pivot. Is obviously would be a target if we did start breaking down significantly. There is, of course, support as we're moving down towards these, and we've got the lower bands again. If we start pulling back down, we've then got the 4-hourly 21. So there's a few areas. Daily 8 is just bang on it, and it may be that could be a target, but there are a few areas before then. We've got the hourly 50 as we're looking at this at the moment. I was just doing some Fibonacci retracement figures on here. The 236, which is really well, we've already had a 236 retrace on that big move, so that's done. Came short of the 38%. 38% would be round about the weekly pivot, so there is possibility of a bit more of a continuation to this move here. With Fed news out later this week, it could be another one of those weeks that is relatively quiet up until the big day. Today is certainly going to be quiet on the news front because there isn't any hardly. This morning at 10 o'clock, we got industrial production from Europe, which is a figure that barely moves the markets at any time. And then following on from that, later on at 7 p.m., we've got the New Zealand Bank Governor Wheeler speaking, which could move the market, certainly for the New Zealand dollar, but that's 7 p.m. this evening. So nothing in between at the moment. Likely to affect us from that point of view, unless there's any speakers that just decide to come out. And of course, for the UK, we've got the budget, so any budget gossip or anything like this leading into the budget this week could create some volatility. So there's the euro. The pound has come out for a moment first. It's a good solid day again on Friday, pushed up even further into the monthly R1, pretty close to it. Again, the weekly pivot is below us at the moment, and it is pulling off a little bit and not looking quite as weak as the euro dollar. And in fact, is sort of bounced off pretty much off the daily pivot along with the 21 moving average at the moment. Could still see a bit of continuation to this downside. If we see a break of the daily pivot, then well, chances are with 34 and weekly pivot with the prior highs, there would be good targets. Probably combined with that 50, it may even give us a bounce area from there, but certainly looks like a good target to the downside if you see a break of the lows. Alternatively, if we start seeing a bit more of a shove up, the monthly R1, daily R1, I think maybe a big ask today, but you should see the pivots are pretty well spread. But there's certainly the chance of the intermediate bar there, the RM1 being hit. Maybe we'll get up to Friday's back to Friday's highs. Dollar yen, well, choppy as anything at the moment. From a daily perspective, in a sense, and intraday it can be pretty choppy at the moment. Still haven't hit the monthly pivot that's above us here. Little to give guidance really in terms of what's going on here from a 60-minute point of view. We've pretty much gone back to neutral from Friday's data, and it's all over its daily pivot at the moment. And I think it's really a case that if it breaks the upper trend line, there could be back on for the R1 along with towards the highs of Thursdays. Alternatively, any sort of break, there's a trend line that's running down the lower side of here. A trend of this could bring us back down. Actually, sorry, daily pivot's below us there. So daily pivot along with the weekly pivot are together by the looks of things. Sorry, I thought it was all over the daily pivot there. So at the moment it's luring bullish. But if we can see a break of that trend line, then it makes it a better option for the daily pivot there. However, with the moving averages there, it may just be a bumpy old ride trying to break through. So that's certainly a possibility then. Okay, Aussie dollar. Once again, pushing in on Friday into the, I say once again, but pushed into the R3 on Friday. Selling off from that at the moment. We've diverged a little bit on the 4 hourlies here. There was news from China overnight, which wasn't great, but they're doing things to try and soften the blow. And it's come off quite strong back down towards its weekly pivot at the moment. I think we probably missed it. It's already just called a daily pivot. Weekly pivot not far below, which is certainly a possibility here. Is overall, I'm sort of coming back to this bigger picture here. I'm just looking at the sort of the RSI isn't necessarily going with this move, although, well, perhaps that Thursday pip was just a little bit more, but it looked like the RSI was almost edging off with the price pushing up there. So we'll see. Okay, that was the Aussie dollar. Finally, Canadian dollar. Before we look at the Canadian dollar, let's a quick look at the price of oil. It's still shoving up. Okay, it's edging a little bit down here now. There was divergence leading into, so a bit of divergence kicking across the tops here, and certainly on the dailies as well. So a bit of divergence on that. Let's have a look. So Canadian dollar should shove it upwards in that case, which is still really, when you look at the dailies, it looks it's in a good downward trend really. We may get a sell point into the weekly pivot today at some point. Possibly if we're following that bigger trend, it's not far off it. 50 MA, etc., coming with it. It's got quite choppy in the morning sessions of late, and which has not made it great to trade. Very whippy. It starts looking like it's going to do okay. Then early afternoon on Friday, Thursday rather, we saw quite a lot of chop. It was quite bitty again, leading into Friday, but well, we'll see what this gives us. But at the moment, perhaps if we see a push up here, it could just go straight for the weekly pivot. Not a clear setup in sight for me at the moment there, unless you could draw the trend line down there and look for a break, but it's effectively already broken that trend line on this current candle. It's come up pretty neutral, pretty much to double tops here. So there's possibly a possibility of a push up to the weekly pivot, maybe beyond if oil keeps on running. To the downside, well, it's a bit of an easier drawing line here. We could just draw the trend along here, and if it starts breaking the lows here, well, that could be a better picture with Friday's lows in mind and maybe even the S1. Right, that's pretty much it for me. As I say, news-wise, there's barely anything, so wish you a great day. Bye for now.